Okay, so I got my four-wheel drive Revel Kit in from China, and just got delivered by UPS tonight. UPS tossed it around a little bit, but it's got a pretty sturdy box on it, which is good because it looks like the shipping was not easy on it. So I'm gonna open it up. I got my board already, which is a loaded Tarab. I've got 95A riptide bushings to replace the stock ones. And I've got 110 millimeter torque boards, cloud wheels, and I'll tell you why I picked out those in a little bit. For right now, I'm just going to pause and get the box open. Okay, so there's the box inside the box. Packing materials. And let me just see if I can stand this up so it doesn't all fall out. Manual. And 2 drives, 2 remotes. 1 docking station, is that right? 2 docking stations, tool, and 2 chargers. So that's all it. I'm going to pause for about 10-15 minutes while I just get these drives mounted on here, and then we'll talk. Okay, so it was 7.5 minutes to get both drives on, which isn't a lot. I'm going to change the pivot bushings because I might go top speed, and harder bushings make sure that you don't get speed wobbles. So I think most people know how to do this. Okay, so it took about another 2.5 minutes aside to replace the pivot bushings. So I got 4 barrel bushings out of there, and I got barrel bushings closer to the deck, cone bushings closer to the nuts, and I got those nicely tightened down. So I also ended up with 2 spare screws and nuts, which is kind of neat if you drop one and it rolls under the couch. And I'm about to mount the batteries. I'm going to have to charge these up before I go for a ride, but I can certainly use what charge it ships with. So just give this a little push before you put the battery in, because you don't want it to get jammed on your first use. And slide it in nice and slow. And then when you go to release the battery, come on close here. Don't get confused. This is the cover for the USB port, the rubber USB port, which I can't quite pull out right now, and I'm not going to. The release button is pushing down here. So I'm going to push down the release button and slide it out. Okay? Don't get too confused and push like crazy on this button and yank here, because that's not what you're supposed to do. Let's get the battery in here. Just going to give that a little push. There we go. And so what is this? Well, I got 2 remotes. One there, one here. I also have 4 of these Kegel adapters, which I'm going to need to put those larger wheels on. And I'm not sure what to expect here. I haven't read the manual yet. I might need to. I'm just going to start up one remote. And I'm just going to guess. Oh. I start it up and hold the button down. Oh, it says 4-wheel drive. The 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive selector. So I'm going to select that. And it's remote pairing. Wow, is this ever easy? Didn't even need to read the manual. Now, what I probably should have done is I should have started these up with a long push. So I'm going to start, instead of just starting it up, I'm going to hold it down until it starts fast flashing. Okay, I found one. Now I'm going to do the other one. I'm going to hold it down with a fast flashing. And that's got the second one. I'm going to probably have to, let's see if they're both going the right direction. Units, so it's asking me units, kilometers, I'll pick kilometers per hour. And we're ready to go, and there we're going. Okay, so I'm going to pause and read the manual a little bit to figure out direction and the brake settings, and then I'll come back on. But that first part, I didn't even need the manual for. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I got the remote all figured out. For forward and reverse, it's right here, which is pretty cool. You could actually probably switch into reverse at a light and back up out of the intersection. The speed is the left one. That's for 1, 2, 3, 4 speeds. Now, if you want to change the brake, you have to go into main menu mode. And I tried this a few times before. You have to hold down the brake button and you have to hit this on-off button pretty quickly. If you don't do it quickly enough, it won't do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I got into it. So then it says four-wheel drive. I'm going to select that. This button doesn't work. You can push this button all you want. You have to use the right button to cycle through them. So I'm going to choose 50%, and then I'm going to move on. And the wheel diameter, I'm going to leave at 90. And Bluetooth, I don't know why you'd want to disable it, but it's enabled, so I'm going to select that. So that's all the setup. It is in the manual. The documentation in the manual is pretty good. And the tips up front are also pretty well written in terms of safety information. It's good English. It's not broken English from a Chinese writer. So that's impressive too. And cruise control I'll have to read up on later. I don't like the sound of that. Okay, so I read up on cruise control. So on cruise control, you can go a particular speed. You can see the kilometers an hour there. And then if you reach over with the other hand and hit the power button, it'll keep going that speed and you can do hands-free. Now, I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, but I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't want to do it by accident and find that I'm on cruise control. Anyways, you can cancel it just by hitting the brake, so it's not as crazy as my first reaction. Okay, so last few little things. The remotes have a pretty low charge in them when they arrive, so you might want to charge them up for a few minutes before you try and do your setup. I found at the bottom of the box this tool, which would have been really helpful because you can get in there from the side, and it's also skinny enough that you can hold it straight down. Whereas with the traditional tool, which they also give you, I had to kind of put it on an angle and kind of hack up the bolts a little bit. So very nice 10mm tool in the bottom of the box. Okay, so I'm going to get these things all charged up. I'll try it tomorrow. I want to try it first with the regular 90mm wheels. I'm expecting the brakes to be a little strong because I've heard rumors that the brakes are a little strong. That's the main reason I picked up the 110mm wheels. So I'm going to swap those on and see if it softens up the brake and if it's good. Charging, very important. If you're a Land Wheel or L3X owner, or if you've got previous versions of the charging block, only use the new charging block. The batteries inside here are different, and so you don't want to use an old version charger on this new battery. Very important. So one of the first things I'm going to do is put a big sticker on the back of these so I can tell them apart from the other ones. And I think that's it. We'll see you tomorrow.